We also have hog market analysis this week with University of Missouri Extension economist Ron Plain. As we mentioned in our previous episode, the American Association of Swine Veterinarians has confirmed about 30% of farms which had broke with the porcine epidemic diarrhea virus suffered a second outbreak. That could have a continued effect on total pork production throughout the summer months, but pig producers are still packing pounds on their animals as slaughter weights remain high. Ron joined us Wednesday afternoon to talk about U.S. pork exports, the health of the U.S. economy, and hog prices during the month of May.
Well, yeah, Jeff, it was a downward trend. We've seen a slow decline in hog prices since the peak, which came back right at the very end of March. And so it was, we lost probably $4 to $6 per hundredweight during the month of May.
Will June be a month of rebound or further decline?
Well, we're looking for some rebound. The futures market expects a pretty sharp increase before we get to the end of August, and seasonally we should see pork production decline, and therefore a fairly good chance that we'll have higher hog prices at the end of June than here at the start.
A worrying note on the U.S. economy: it contracted at 1% in the first quarter. What implications does that have on meat demand?
Well, you know, you need consumers with money in their pockets to keep meat prices up, and when the economy shrinks, earnings are going to follow. We need economic growth and more jobs to boost meat demand, so a 1% decline in the economy in the first quarter isn't very encouraging.
What's the analysis of the affordability of pork related to the other meats being beef and chicken?
Well, pork's in between. The average price of pork in grocery stores was $3.95 a pound. During the month of April, the most recent data, that's well under the $5 or so that beef averages, but it's higher than chicken. I might also point out it is record high. The pork prices in grocery stores set records in March and then again in April.
How have hog slaughter numbers been, Ron?
Well, down. We're down 4.4% in hog slaughter year to date, but because of heavy weights, pork production is not down nearly so much. On average, hogs have weighed about 3.3% more this year than last year, and so fewer hogs going to slaughter, but not such a sharp drop off in the amount of pork coming out of packing plants.
The total production then is fairly close.
Yes, we're down 0.9% compared to a year ago, so it's encouraging that we've seen such a sharp jump in hog prices with a fairly modest decline in pork production. But of course, the other meats are off too, particularly beef production is down about 5% thus far this year.
We recently learned that hog farms which had broken with the PED virus weren't immune or weren't completely immune to the virus. What does it mean for production that hog farms could catch this a second time around?
That has real implications. We've lost a lot of pigs, 5-10 million head, maybe more this year to the PED virus, and was hoping to build resistance into that breeding herd and see much lower losses in the future. But the indications are that the immunity and the sows may not be long last, and therefore we may have to continue to see some large losses to this disease.
A quick question on exports, Ron. How strong has that market been?
First quarter was very good. We were up 10% in the amount of pork we exported, and given the fact that we had record high pork prices at the time, that was very strong demand. Part of that may have been due to some foreign customers who were buying ahead in anticipation of some very tight supplies and high prices this summer, which should be the period of time we're going to see the greatest impact at the slaughter plants anyway, due to pigs that died from PED back during the winter months.
You made a note in your recent write-up of the Census of Agriculture demographics of hog farms. What's interesting in those numbers, Ron?
Well, we continue to see a decline in number of hog farms. The latest census numbers says we have a little over 63,000 farms in the United States that raise pigs. That's only 3% of the farms in the United States. The other thing that's of interest in the data is an awful lot of those 63,000 farms are small. 2/3 of all the farms that raise hogs have fewer than 25 head in inventory.
Is that a trend?
That's been the case for quite some time. We still hang on to a number of small operations, some of them 4-H and FFA projects that raise pigs. On the other end, the bigger operations, the 5%, that the largest producers in the United States have about 68% of the hogs.
The USDA Thursday announced more than $26 million would go towards battling both the porcine epidemic diarrhea virus and the porcine delta coronavirus. The agency will also require producers, veterinarians, and labs to report all cases of both viruses to the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service or state animal health officials. For the week ending May 31st, there were 142 positive PEDV tests, the lowest amount since late December.